So, okay, it start recording. So, so two options to start. So first, you can load if you have a good factor register. You can start from factor register. Just simply load the one for the factor register here, and by select and then select set, it's gonna go to the stem mode and then then select some gun length and spot size automatically for you. But if you don't have a good focus sensor, you can start from the TMO. So right now we are in TMO. We just aligned the TM alignment, right? We did the director alignment for TM. So we have good TM alignment. Then we can go to the stem here. Just select stem. So we are in time mode, right? We just select stem here, switch to stem mode. And then we need to select some, because we don't load factor register, right? So we need to select the spot size being setting by ourselves. So we simply switch to this nanoprobe mode, and in the bin setting, we can switch to the nanoprobe, because usually in the 10 mode, we use the microprobe. In the stem mode, we use nanoprobe mode. So we switch to the nanoprobe mode. We check our semi-angle, convergent angle. It's 10.5 meter rate for Talos. If you use the 70 aperture, so the aperture is 70, the semi-angle should be 10.5. And then we can select the different spot size. So here, the typical spot size we use for the stem normal imaging is 7. So let's do 7. And then we go to the gun length, check gun length 3, which is good. You can increase the gun length if you want a little bit. Typically for the low mag, we use a 3 to 6, 3 to 5. Okay, it's give you a good control of the beam current. So once we're done with that, we can just select one for image software. Velox, either Velox or TA. We're going to show you TA first. So you just select a TA. Right now, being is blank. You unblank the beam. Let's say search. And you have to load the screen, because just now we use TM mode with each screen, right? And another thing, you want to make sure you retract your objective length, objective aperture. So if you keep your objective aperture in, you're gonna see because that's objective aperture gonna block your signal. You're gonna correct your head of detector gonna collect very less signal from your sample. So just in case, if you switch from time mode to TM mode, or to switch from time mode to stem mode, you will make sure you retract your objective length, objective aperture. Sorry about that. And then once we're done with that, we can take a look there. You can find your sample first. We just select the image software. This is your sample. We can move. We can go stage. We can find your sample. Say this is your sample, and then we can do a little bit of focusing. Use the height. So you can. So we're close to the focus, right? Okay, then you can zoom in a little bit, do a little bit of fine focusing. So, okay, the focus is fine. So we find a sample, and we do a little focusing. We check the status. You see right now alignment it's close. It's not far away, which is good. And also for the low mag, we're on a very good contrast. So in this case, we use the current around 0.2 nanoamp, which is gonna give you very good contrast. And also, but please note, if you have been sensitive sample, do keep this current below 100, below 0.1 nanoamp, because that's not, because otherwise you're gonna damage the sample a lot. So yeah, so once you set up the, because this beam current can be set up by change the spot size and the gun length. So you can change it. If you increase your gun length, you have a smaller beam current, right? So right now we're at gun length 4. You see your beam current decrease to around 100 or 0.1 nanoamp. So if you go further, you can decrease the beam current to below 0.1 nanoamp. So, but now we want a good contrast. We just decrease your gun length to 3 to give you a good amount of signal. And then you can also choose different spot size. So remember, we can select the sub window and select the beam setting here. Then you can say, you can just click select any spot size. You can decrease to further increase the current, or you can, right now you get almost 0.5 nanoamp current. Also, you can increase spot size to 8 to decrease the beam current. So it's your choice. So it's pretty depend on your image application. Whether your sample is beam sensitive or not, whether you want to how much contrast you want to get from imaging. So and then for this for this training, I just choose the spot size 7. So and then I once to choose spot size 7, I find a sample and I can stop there. And then I go to the stand here, this tab here, this tab here. I can stop the search. So once I stop the search, you see this is your beam parked in the center, right? If you want to park your beam in a different position, you can select this tiny beam position mark tool here. Once select, and then you put on the central crossover, green crossover, and then you use the left click your mouse and hold it and drag it to somewhere else. You can drop to vacuum to protect your sample, or you can drop to a moisture sample with a moisture layer here to take a look at your Ronchigram to align your Ronchigram based on align your stem based on Ronchigram. So once you because right now we're gonna park here. I know this reading is amorphous, and then I can take a look at my flow cam again. Just say, and again we have 4 different mode for the flow cam. We have natural, we have linear, we have high contrast. Choose we also have a high dynamic range. This is usually for diffraction. High contrast usually it's give you very good contrast, but sometimes too much contrast here. Usually use lateral, and also you can use high resolution. You're gonna zoom out, give you a better view of your central disk. So so this is your Ronchigram right now. You can also use the central mouse to central valve of your mouse to increase or decrease the contrast. So right now it seems we are on the crystal material. We can see the Ronchigram, or we can see the chip pattern. So I might want to choose different location. So I want to choose the amorphous region to do alignment. And So probably I can zoom in, do search. I can zoom in. So take a look at my hand panel. You can use the magnification to zoom in, and then use the joystick to move to the region of interest. Once you get there, we stop the view. So for this situation, we want to see your view and your flow cam at the same time. So in that case, we can know which position is amorphous, right? So if you go there, here is a crystal. You see the Kikuchi pattern. If you go here, this is amorphous, probably amorphous, and I go lateral. You see, this is amorphous. So because right now, as I mentioned, for the alignment, it's good to use a large C2 aperture. In this case, you can see the whole. You can get a full view of your Ronchigram. So I just choose 150. So now you see whole view of your Ronchigram. So Ronchigram, and then you can use the focus lock to do focusing a little bit. So this is under focus. This is how, and you can choose the high contrast to make your Ronchigram more clear to see. So you can see this is your Ronchigram. As you can tell, right now this is outer ring. It's your C2 aperture. It's not a center according to the Ronchigram. You probably can adjust the centering of the C2 a little bit. Make sure your Ronchigram is at center of your C2. Okay, this is at center. Okay. So after we're done with that, you see right now you can use the focus knob to do focusing by using the Ronchigram. So this is under focus. This is way over under focus, and then when you can use the focus knob to gradually bring the sample back to focus. Once you back to the focus, you see this is the outer ring of your Ronchigram. It's not round. So that means you have condenser stigma to adjust. So you simply click astigmatism in the hand panel here, and then you just select condenser astigmatism to adjust. So before adjust, we always good to copy the current value, copy 1 to 2. So in case something goes wrong, we can always look for that value again. So and then we can use multifunction X and Y. So to adjust to make the ring of the Ronchigram become round. So yeah, this is close. You see, you can use this red circle as a reference, right? Right now, it's the ring of the Ronchigram. It looks very round. You can adjust step size by push the cause and find to this is the cause. So you see this is off. This is off. This is a close. Once it's closed, you can push the find button to decrease step size to find adjustment. Okay, and then you can adjust focus a little bit, because when at focus, you get the smallest central eye, and the central point have minimum contrast. It's like a fish eye. And then you can use the multifunction S and Y to remove the to make the Ronchigram looks more round, and also remove any line, any contrast within the central eyes, central boring point. Okay, this now you get it close. Once we're done with that, we're done with the alignment. Then we can go back to 70. So you see, your 70 only select the central eye, and you can do fine adjust the position of your 70 aperture to make sure it's select the central. Make sure it's select the central make sure it's at the center of the Ronchigram. Okay, once we're done with that, we can just take a look at the image quality. You can do search, and we choose the image software here, and then we can make out or make in. So this is how we then, if you feel the quality is good, it's quite clear, then we can take image. Before we take image, we can adjust the contrast of image a little bit. We can use scope tool here. If you click scope tool, you see that this is a red line. It's flashing. It's so you need to change the contrast. It's always good to keep brightness 42.5% for the hottest. So another way to adjust the brightness is to blank your beam. To blank your beam, you see you can adjust brightness to, you see the red line here. Make sure it's just above the bottom line here. Right now it's just above, it's good. So once it's good, you can just unblank that, and then adjust the contrast to make sure that this red line is between in between these two blue line. So but now it's over. It's like this. It's creeping. Yeah, this is good because your sample height is different. That's the reason we have different contrasts. Contrast time variation is good. It's huge. Okay. Once we're done with that, we're ready to take image. So before taking image, you might want to check the quality. So we can use the preview to check the quality of the image. So you can set up skin size dwell time here. So right now it's 1K by 1K. You can go flap out. You can choose the skin size here. You can choose 2K by 2K. You can select dwell time. Typical dwell time is 5 microseconds, so we can choose that. And this is if you take 1K by 1K, it's also give you. It's gonna take a long time. If you choose the large image size, large image size, it's gonna take a longer time. So, but you have smaller pixel size. To give you information of the pixel size. Right now it's 1.1 nanometer. Once you're okay with the preview, you can just set a similar acquisition parameter as preview. So we can go 2K by 2K. You can go 5 microseconds. So we feel this is good quality, give you a good quality of imaging. You can also, of course, you can go 10 microseconds, but that just take a longer time. Take a much longer time. You can stop and then acquire. So, there's a risk when you do a very long scan. If something happens, if like some vibration, you might have some vibration in image. If some like environmental noise goes around, if somebody walk around, if you lock your desk during the imaging, or so there's more risk to retake you for you to retake your image. If you this is a lot of instability if you take care, if you do a long scan. So there's always a balance with the image quality and the image drift. Okay, you can also take a 4K by 4K, choose Merced frame, take 4K by 4K, and you can do 10 microsecond dual time. It's gonna take much longer time to scan the whole region, but the image quality is gonna much better than 1K and 2K imaging. But take a look, if you see some during the imaging, you can always zoom in. So auto scale. So I just did a decrease dwell time. Sorry about that. You can go like 8. So do a long scan, give you very good image quality. So you can take a look the can buy click here. You can take a look at the skin. If you see some vibration, that's mean or some some vibration imaging, you probably need to pause there, stop the scan, and then retake another one by shorten the dwell time. So we use a smaller dwell time. Okay, this is basically how we take a stem imaging. So if you just take a low max stem imaging, that's it. It's pretty simple. But if you wanna get a little bit more resolution, you probably need or your alignment is way off. You probably need to check your probe. So right now we only check the alignment through Ronchigram. We don't actually take a look at the probe shape and the size. So after we're done with the imaging, we can go back to check how your probe look like. So and then we can do a fine adjustment of your probe. In that case, you can get a better imaging. So, but if you, because sometimes if you satisfy with your current image quality, you can just stop here, take more imaging. Yeah, it's gonna take a much longer time. This is how we use the case software to take an imaging. So also it also give you like image rotation, scan rotation option here. You can choose the rotation angle you want to rotate, and you can have 1 degree increment here, and you can gradually change the scan rotation here. So yeah, that's you see this is 4K by 4K imaging. You see the images actually is pretty cool. You can see the multiple grain within different layer. Okay, you can see contrast here of different gates layer. Also, you can see a little bit of dark contrast within each gate. So that means that there are different, because this is hard imaging. That means we might have some different component within this gate. So we can always figure out by doing EDS mapping, but it's always good to check the composition different by just take a look at the hard imaging. Okay, it's still scanning. If you see aqua still on yellow, that means we're still acquiring. Because yeah, when this aqua button become gray out, that means we'll finish acquisition. So we can go search again. So yeah, this is how we take a basic image. So if you want to take a look at the probe, how probe look like, you probably need got all of the sample because we don't want any interference from sample, because if you have interference, your probe gonna look different. So we got all of the sample, we pop the beam to the center probably. Move the beam. If you want to pop to the beam in the center, you just click pop this. You just say display in pixel. No, you just say 0, 0 prime. Then it goes to the center. Okay. And then you go out of direction. You stop the view first, and you probably need to recharge your hard effect detector. You don't want the hard effect detector to block your beam. And then you see go out, use hand panel. Take a look here, and you go out of direction. Let me show you again. By zoom view hand panel, you see right now there's a diffraction spot here. You see the red line is on. If you go out of direction, you see the lights goes off. It's indicate we're in the mode out of direction. So okay, once we're out of direction, we need to check our full cam. So we just when we go out of direction, the magnification, the default magnification is the highest magnification, which is the 630. So we can use the magnification log to decrease magnification in order to see the beam, and then we can use the beam shift. We select the beam shift.
Can you swap the screen again?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's always forget to swap. Okay, and then you can see the beam, right? And then you can use the beam, select the beam shift, use the multifunction X and Y to move the beam to the center. Okay, once at the center, we can zoom in again, go to the highest magnification. In that case, you can take a look at your beam, how your beam look like. So right now, this is your probe. We're in the nano probe mode. We should see smallest as probe, a smaller probe than this, because right now it's indicate because you can condense your beam, use the intensity list here. So, and then you can use the focus log to condense your beam. Make smallest as small as possible. So this is your probe look like. So and then you sit down. Then once we're done with that, your central focus of your stem image is set. So every time if you go out of defocus value, go way off defocus value, then you need you push the central focus. It's gonna go to this point. It's gonna go to the status with the smallest probe. So, but before that, we need to normalize the lens. So let's push your central focus. When you push your central focus, you're gonna normalize the lens. So you say once it's normalizing, your probe become bigger. So that means we need to do the intensity focus again. And then we use the focus log to bring the probe to the smallest one. Then you load some astigmatism there, and then you push the then you sit down. Once you're done, you push the central focus again. Then normalize your lens and bring your probe to your central focus again. Now you see your probe is pretty small. It's as small as we just set. So that means your lens is normalized. So keep that in mind. When you set the intensity list, when you set your central focus, you should push your central focus first to normalize the residual magnetic field within your objective lens. In that case, once you push your shift focus again, you will get similar probe size. You will get similar focus each time. Otherwise, your probe gonna become bigger. So if you don't normalize your object length.
So by normalize, do you mean press your shortcut for L2? Normalize all?
If you can press the shortcut L2, or for me, I just press the U-center focus.
Okay. So and then does the defocus have to be 0 when you do that, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter. So when you push the U-center focus, it's gonna bring your focus back to the 0. And also it's gonna, before that, it's also gonna normalize your length. I gotta push again, you see? If you push using the focus, you see it says normalizing. Once it's normalizing, it's gonna bring your focus back to the point you just set. So for example, I just go autofocus. I just go negative 842 defocus value. You see your probe is pretty big, right? So and then, because I set the default value, I use the intensity focus, just set the default using the focus, and then next time I can just push using to focus. Your probe gonna become smaller again, but first it's gonna normalize your length. So you're gonna go back to the intensity focus you just set. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, but this is one situation. If you don't normalize your, but so one important note is before you set your intensity list. So we set the intensity list, right? It's always good to push the U-center focus to normalize your length. If you don't normalize your length, once you set your U-center focus and you push the U-center focus, it doesn't work because you have residual magnetic field in your object length. And every time you push U-center focus, it's going to normalize your object length. That's residual magnetic field can affect your intensity list you just set. But if you remove that magnetic field, remove that residual magnetic field by just normalize the length, then you don't have the issue. Then you can set the intensity leaks. You can set the using the focus point. So yeah, that's an important note. And then you notice you have a lot of your beam is run around. So that's meaning you have vibration. So this true aberration. A little bit tricky here. So true aberration, we have condenser aberration, we have objective aberration. So because right now we don't know which aberration make this probe looks rare. So the typical situation is we can just use the condenser aberration stigmata to make the probe round. Okay. So this situation we assuming we don't have objective aberration. So later on, and we go back to diffraction mode. We take a look at the Ronchigram in the atmosphere region, and then we fix the condenser astigmatism by using the Ronchigram, and then we know we don't have condenser astigmatism, right? And then we go back to go out of diffraction mode. We check the probe again. If we see the probe elongate again, that means this elongation caused by the the objective aberration, not by the condenser, because we just adjust the condenser astigmatism by taking a look at the Ronchigram. Let me show you. So right now we adjust the condenser, so we make it around. So then we just go out of direction. I'll go to diffraction mode, and we take a look at the image. We search image. It takes some time to insert detector. We are out of sample, right? So yeah. So first we use Z height. We use Z to focus a little bit, and then we go to and then we stop search and then move beam to the moisture region, and then we can. You say this is your Ronchigram, and then we can push stigmator. You can just and then use the condenser stigmator to adjust your Ronchigram. You can always copy 1 to 2 to save that, and then you can multifunction X and Y, and also focusing. You see this is a focusing. You see this line. This lot of line in the central eye. That's mean if you have astigmatism, use the condenser astigmatism. This multifunction X and Y to remove this line. Okay. Now you see no line in the central eye, which means we have no condenser astigmatism. We remove the condenser astigmatism. Now we know we don't have a condenser astigmatism, so then we go out of direction. We take a look at the probe again. Now we see our probe. It's we can do intensive focus to set up the focus. You see your probe still elongate, but this elongation is not covered by the condenser, because we adjust our condenser astigmatism. But take a look at the Ronchigram, right? So that means this strip aberration is caused by the objective aberration. So then use objective aberration to make it around, remove any objective aberration. Okay. Then it's good. And then we can set our using to focus again. Move window to the center. Okay, once we're done with that, the next step is adjust the. So far, we go into the diffraction mode. We adjust the condenser astigmatism, and then we go out of diffraction mode. We take a look at the probe. We're still seeing elongated probe. That means we have objective astigmatism. Then we use the objective astigmatism to make probe round, and then we can set up intensity list, which is a function to set up the using to focus. But before set up using to focus, we should always normalize the length by just pushing the using to focus. It's gonna normalize the length for you. And once we've done that, the next step we can adjust the beam tilt PPX. So we can just click that use multifunction and S and Y to make it they overlap with each other. You might need to adjust the beam shift in the adjustment. So and then you set up beam nano probe beam tilt PPX again, and then adjust X first and then Y. Make the overlap with each other and remove any side movement. And then you use beam shift to bring it back to center. And then you add beam tilt X or Y. Okay. make it this shipping overlap. So you can choose different mode. You see linear, natural, high contrast. Just you can even use the central valve view mode to adjust contrast. Okay, and once you're down. You can use spin shift, move your sample, move your beam probe to sample. You see some actual spot, right? That's because we're at the sample right now. So that's the interference from sample. So usually we do this at the vacuum or at the hole. Okay, we're done with the beam tube, PPX and Y, and then we know we can do center C2 here, but we know we just center over C2 by taking a look there, by align the C2 aperture with the Ronchigram, right? It's also give you function to center C2 aperture here. You click C2 aperture, and you lower magnification. You see how it's wobbling. It's wobbling. It has a little bit of side movement. So you probably just want to use multifunction at Y to make it wobbling concentrically. It's very close. It has a little bit of side movement. Okay, it's close. Okay, once we're done with that, and then we can just set intensity focus again. You can just use the natural. Okay, you see down. The last thing we need to do is rotation center. So how do we adjust rotation center? We can just select rotation. There's two options: rotation center intensity, rotation center objective. So it's same thing. So we can just set up rotation center by wobbling C2 aperture, or we can set the rotation center by wobbling objective aperture. So if you set the rotation center objective, so you bring an object wobbling through the objective lens. So so make sure in this case you can use function S and Y to make it wobbling concentrically. So and another quick tip here is just use you can take a look at the because you can use multifunction and Y to make sure it's wobble concentrically. It's close. Another thing we can do, so we should say this, I found this is very hard to do. So usually for me, I just use because right now, use the focus lock here, use outer ring to stop the wobbling. Use outer ring. If you go counterclockwise, adjust the stop sign, it's gonna stop the wobbling. And then you use the focus. You use focus to zoom out or zoom in beam a little bit. And you need to move out of the sample region, remove any effect from beam. So any interference from beam. And you see this there's a boiling point in the center of the beam. So it's a very bright spot in the center of the beam. So you probably go to the high resolution. You see, this is a central point. You can also go, and then you use the multifunction X and Y, move the central point. You see that central bright spot. This is central bright spot. you use multifunction S and Y to move this Y spot in the center. Okay, that's it. Then we're done with that. You can same here. If you wobble through this, right now you see we're right at the center, so you're being wobbled very concentrically, do not have any side movement, right? Okay. One thing I forgot to mention is that we need to set up when we choose the focus as intensity. So when we do wobble the C2, you see the C2 wobble concentrically. So, but you can all when we choose the focus as objective, and when you center C2, you see it's when you center C2 memory, when you do because your intensity is not gonna work. So you use focus to go over focus and under focus, right? So a lot of users, they try to use this to center C2, which is not right. Because when you go over focus, under focus, you change your value of your objective length. So you see your beam is not wobble concentrically because you're wobbling your objective length, not your C2 aperture, not your C2 length. To adjust the C2 aperture to the center, we need to wobble C2 length. So that case means we need to select focus as intensity. So if you set the focus intensity, and then we go over focus. I'm sorry, step size too big. And on the focus, over focus, you're saying it's then you can you see the beam wobble concentrically, right? So that's in this way you can just choose the aperture here. You can say adjust, and then you can go on the focus, take a look at the beam. If your beam is not the wobble concentrically, you can use multifunction S and Y to adjust the C2 centering. So no, not so. This is very important. The note. So if you want to adjust C2 centering, it's better to use change focus to intensity. Don't use focus as objective. Okay. Okay. We so basically we you see the probes still get a little bit you can use because we just go intensity these. Okay, go focus probe. Okay. Okay, we move the beam to the center. It's on the sample, you see the deflection. It's fine. Okay, it's good. So so the purpose is going out of direction is to take a look at your probe shape, to adjust your probe shape and the size. We can use the intensity to focus your probe to a fine probe, and also we can adjust the C2 sensing and the beam point, PPX and the Y, make sure they're good, and also we can find just your rotation centrally. After we're done with that, we can just go diffraction, go to diffraction mode, and then take a look at the image by look at the sample. You can go search. So because we touch the intensity focus, we reset the intensity. You reset your center focus. Your sample is out of focus. you need to bring your sample to the focus, but you stay hard. Okay. In this case, you don't use focus lob to put your sample to the don't use too much of your focus lob to focus your sample, because when you touch the focus lob, you basically change your size of your probe. We want to have a very fine nano probe to scanning across your sample. In that case, we can have high resolution, because the finer probe you have, higher resolution you're gonna get. So if you touch the focus so much, so it's okay to have like a defocus value. If you touch the focus here, you're gonna have defocus value. If you take a look at here, you're gonna have defocus value. If your defocus value goes above like 200 nanometer, your probe gonna look very big. Looks like a big, so which is not good for resolution. So just make sure you have as small defocus value as possible. So, and just use Z hard to bring your sample back to the focus. In this case, you can have fine probe and also the good focusing. Okay, we can use the Ronchigram to do focusing a little bit. We can park the beam and stop view, park the beam to the moisture region, and take a look at your Ronchigram. Yeah. And then we can do final astigmatism. You can use 150 after to take a look at your Ronchigram. Okay, and then if we want to choose, we do a little bit of imaging to make you have okay, I think we're close. Then once we're close, we can select the 70 aperture again. And we can go back to the scanning and do search. So then we are good to take the image again. So probably we need to adjust the contrast. Lower a little bit of contrast here. Okay. Okay. And then you can adjust the rotation by click the button. You can do fine adjustment. Okay. And then we're good to take image. You can see a curve. You can take 4K. That's 4K might be too slow. Let's take a 2K image. Maybe 1K image. Make it faster. Okay, we get a 1K image by using TA software. So you can always park the beam at edge. So we don't want to park the beam to the sample, park the beam on the edge. So next, I'm gonna show you something. But as I mentioned, we have different kind of detector. You can just insert different kind of detector and do the imaging with all 4 detectors. So we can just say search. You see, for now we have no signal to the bright field, dark field detector because dark field detector is below the sample. We need to lift the screen, push it L1 here, push L1, lift the main screen. The signal gonna go to your sample. So so this is a so probably we move up a little bit. So you see situation here. So in the harddisk, we got the Z contrast, which is dark field contrast, and you see your vacuum is in black. In the DF4, the main contrast is still dark field. We get a black vacuum. In bright field, the vacuum is bright, so the contrast is inverse. And in DF2, it's kind of a mixture between dark field and the bright field, but it seems the bright field contrast dominate the DF2. So, so in that case, if you want to have dark field contrast in the DF2 detector, we might need to use small camera lens. We can lower the camera lens. Lower the camera lens a little bit more. So, and also we need to take a look at our center beam. And by lower the screen, we want to make sure our beam is still on the center. And before that, we need to stop the view. Stop view is using diffraction alignment. We can move the beam to the center of the detector. Okay, and then we take a look at the view again. Search. Lift the screen. You see right now, because we moved the beam to the center, we use a smaller camera lens. You see, the dark field 4, dark field 2, they all have dark field contrast. We can judge that by taking a look at the vacuum. Your vacuums look dark, but in the bright field, your contrast is inverse. Your vacuum look bright. So we can adjust the contrast by using scope tool. So contrast for harddisk is good. For the bright field, we can set up bright field by using mouse, clicking dark bright field, and then we can. So again, we can rank the beam and adjust the brightness to a value to make sure this red line just above the bottom blue line. So maybe, yeah, just above. Yeah, like that. And then we can, and also we select the F4, make sure it's just above. Again, select the F4 here, and then adjust the brightness. Use mouse. It's very sensitive. It's okay. Let's use the multifunction. So when you choose multifunction knob, you can use multifunction X and Y to adjust the either contrast or multifunction Y related to the brightness. So you can use the multifunction Y to adjust the brightness to make sure this bottom red line just above the blue line. So, and then we can select the F2 as well. So we use multifunction Y to adjust brightness to make sure it's just above the blue line. And then we can we can go unblanket beam and go bright field first. To use multifunction X to adjust the contrast to make sure the red line change not go over this line, second blue line. So on you can choose the Doctor 4 as well. Adjust the contrast by use multifunction X. And also take the Doctor 2. Okay, once we're done with that, we deselect the multifunction lock, and then we can deselect scope. We can see a quadratic image. So then you get the simultaneously imaging the from all four detectors. So which is pretty good. You can do different comparison to tell different contrasts here. Okay, this is how we use the TIA software to do imaging. Any question?
So you adjust the contrast and brightness for each individual detector?
Yes, yes.
And then do you have to do that every single time you change the camera length?
So yes. So every time you change the camera lens, your contrast might change. And also every time you change the camera lens, your if I lower the screen, let's see, the center of the disc might change a little bit. So let's increase. You see, the center disc position of your center disc change. That's going to affect your contrast. That means you have to adjust contrast again. So you can bring the center disc to the center. Use diffraction alignment first, and then take a look at the image, adjust the contrast.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can go normal. 200.05 is normal camera lens we use for high-def image. Okay, this is how we use the TIA software for imaging. So we can do simultaneous acquisition of a bright field, dark field 4, and high-def BF2. And then we can use the Velox software to do so as well. So same thing here. Again, we need to let Velox take over the control of the scanning. So we can just click. Before that, we can deselect all the detector. And then we can, in the Velox software, we just select high-def. Here insert high-def. And we have good to take image. So so we can do, this is scan notation. You can align across here, or you can align anywhere like this. It's your preference. So you can always type the value. You can also adjust the value here. And this is a location left 90 degree, location right 90 degree, 0 degree. And this, you probably don't want a 0 degree here. In the section here. Okay, and then the most important thing, you can set up your preview view scan size and dwell time. This is a typical setting, 512 by 512 to microsecond for view. And then you see we set up second view, use 12 by 12, 10, 24 by 10, 24, and scan maybe 2 microsecond. So this is the second view. It's give you slow scan, a little bit slow, but give you a more detail. It's a preview, and also you can set up the acquisition. For acquisition, typically you can do 2K by 2K, 10 microsecond, and also you can, if you're crazy about the resolution, you can do 4K by 4K, probably 5 microsecond or 10 microsecond. It's gonna keep that in mind. If you use the longer dwell time and larger scan size, you're gonna take longer to get an image. It's gonna take much longer to get an image. So the data imaging, if anything, and so any noise, some people walk around, even somebody talking, some environment construction goes around, it might bring the noise to your scanning, to your imaging. So keep that in mind. So it's better to do long scanning during the light. So in that case, you have minimize the environmental noise. And also you can set up for video, just like in case you want to do some in situ experiment, you want to see how microstructure change with temperature or with mechanical force. You can record a video. So you just choose the mode as series and choose the scan size. Scan size probably you want to do 512 by 512 because you don't want to, because you're recording video, you don't want to produce a very large file. So you typically do 512 by 512 for taking video. And dwell time, probably it's good, 1 microsecond. You can preview your dwell time, but use the preview here. So probably I use the 2 microsecond. And also, you want to series mode. You want to do auto stop at when you finish 20 frames, or you want to do continuously. Continuous means it's not going to stop the recording when you manually quick stop. So unless you manually quick stop, so this is a continuous mode, and this good mode called circular. It's also called the loop, and so let's say if you want to loop 1,000 frame, so it's gonna keep the most recent 1,000 frame. So every 1,000 frame is gonna update and gonna overlay the data. So it's only gonna keep the most recent 1,000 frame. That's good because it's gonna save you a lot of space. Because when you do in situ experiment, you don't know when the event's gonna happen, when the good thing is gonna happen. So you just use the secure mode. When something good thing happen, you just can keep the most recently event. So by just clicking the stop, you just have most recent 1,000 frame. Okay, and you can also set auto stop. Usually it's for DCFI, as I mentioned to you. Which is drift correction frame integration. I cannot give you more detail tomorrow. So let's do a short video up to 50 frame, auto stop, Let's do circular. This is interesting. So you can just click recording. It's gonna record. Just say this is tell you here in the bottom status bar. It tells you status how many frames is acquired. Right now it's acquired 80 frames, 20 frames, 21, 22, 23. So it tells how many frames and also how much time it take. So when it's reached the 50 frame, it's not gonna. It's gonna only keep the most recent 50 frame. So you can take the processing. And now we have 46, 47 frame. Once you reach 450, it's only gonna loop the most recent 50 frame. Okay. So when we start, we just take all the data. It's only we only have 50 frame. So okay. Okay, next, let's do simultaneously stem imaging from all four detectors. So we just select the F2, F2, F4, and we can leave the detector, leave the main screen. You see, we don't have good quality signal. So then we need to take a look at the low screen to check whether over diffraction. We just use diffraction element, move the beam to the center. So if your beam is not on the center, you're not going to get a signal to your broader field detector, right? Because take a look at the detector layout here. This is your detector layout. So if we look at the screen, this is your broader field detector. So if your beam is around here, you're not going to get a signal to your broader field detector. So now we get a good signal to your broad field. Again, your DF2 looks like broad field because you have large camera lens. So in order to get broad field, we might want to select 98 and or 77. So Velox give you freedom to choose the camera lens and also field of view. And then you probably need to load the screen, push that one to load the screen, check the stop the view. You need stop the view to check your central disk, and use diffraction alignment. Make sure it's we can do natural. Yeah, make sure it's on the center. You see, this is the edge of detector. You see, this is the edge of detector. So we make sure this thing is on the center of your low detector. Also down, just leave the screen and take a look at the view in the Velox again. Here. Okay. So you see your DF2 still it's kind of gray, still got a mixture contrast from bright and the dark field. In that case, you probably need that you can do lower screen stop the move a little bit to the then you have dark field contrast to DF2 detector. Okay. You can always adjust the contrast by your scope tool here. It's same thing, same situation. We just select scope tool. We bring the beam. We use the select the heading first. Set the blue line or green line just above the blue line here. We can also select gap 4. Make sure gap 4 we select we change the offset, which is brightness, to make sure this green line just above the blue line. Because we just adjust that, so it's pretty close. Probably we need to adjust a little bit. Yeah. That's good. Just above, yeah, that's good. And then unblend the beam, change make sure the jumping of the green line not exceed the dashed red line here. Okay. Once we are good with that, we can just take image. This time we're gonna take 2K by 2K imaging. Is maybe 4 microsecond. Okay. So.
Does it take all 4 at once?
Yeah, it takes all 4 at once. It's quite convenient. And also the good thing is you can also record video with all 4 detectors at once. Let me show you. So you can set up, this is you take image, right? And also you can set up a video recording. I always say you can say keep the most from 50 frames, right? And then you can say record video. It's gonna record a video with all 4 detectors. Then it's very good for the in situ experiment because you want to see different contracts. So it's taking video with all 4 detectors. So in there, as I mentioned, in the bright field, you mostly have a diffraction contracts, which will give you green information, green orientation information. And in the positive, which may give you Z contracts, which will give you composition information. And in the DF4 and DF2 will give you both information. So you can also do focusing a little bit. Use Fox law. Okay. Also, you okay with that? Okay. So yeah, this is this little icon here is a focus window. You can go in to do focusing. Use Fox law. So here, yeah. Okay. And then you can take a little bit of image with a little bit of higher magnification. So here you see different contracts. So when we do simultaneous imaging with all 4 detectors, it's better to use a little bit shorter camera lens because you don't want to see bright field contrast imaging or DF4 detector, a DF2 detector, right? So you just, as I mentioned, you just zoom out a little bit to make sure. But adjust camera lens and also diffraction alignment. Make sure you have dark contrast from your vacuum in your dark field 2 detector, and also hard F dark field 4 detector. So yeah, that's how we take image by using the Velox software. So let's do. I think this magnification is good. Let's take a look at the camera lens effect. So we're gonna get some good data for you to show to the user. Maybe this magnification is good. Look at this magnification. Okay, this magnification is good. So we're gonna do. I think save some time. We do 1K by 1K. And 4 milliseconds, we can take image with this camera lens, and then we can just pop the beam on the edge, and then we can do. Probably it's good to include a little bit of vacuum, so you can judge what kind of contrast you have, right? So this is a vacuum. Okay, let's include a little bit of vacuum. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So as you tell this is vacuum, you can see how the contrast difference. Let's keep this position. You can add in the stage. You can add a position. Add a position. This is new. You can limit silicon 3. Center. Delete that. Okay. Okay, so right now we add camera lens 77. Let's go smallest camera lens as small as possible. We get let's go 47 first. Keep look at the different collection angle when we change the camera lens. Let me see view. So it looks similar, right? Because and then this is the image for the camera lens as 47. It looks similar, so we don't need to do application. We just go 27, 14. Okay, because camera lens too short, signal is blocked. I think in this case, that dark field 4 signal is blocked by the hard detector. Maybe let's load the screen. Take a look at the central beam. It still is a center, but the view is blocked by the therefore is partially blocked by the hard. You get a little signal because for your hard, but you get so with very short camera lens, you get a very good contrast for your depth and body field. The smallest we can go, 14 is smallest. Let's load the screen. Just wanna see here. If you go to edge, we have a good hard contrast of this one. Okay, right on the center. Okay. Okay, this is how it looked like with camera lens 14 millimeter, which is very small. And then we can take an image. Let's do recording. We might need to adjust contrast, sorry. Before taking, we scope to select brush highlight first and increase the contrast. The signal is pretty poor, so that's the reason we cannot get a good image. So, because this is your highlight detector, when you have very short camera lens, so because your highlight detector is too close to the sample, most signal kind of blocked. So that's the reason we have less signal goes into highlight detector when we use very small camera lens. Okay, let's take image in. And also we have a lot of scan distortion goes into the DF4 detector because the poor signal. Okay, we got the smallest camera lens. We save that. Once it's taken, it's saved automatically. Then we can choose the maybe 19 to see how it look like. Still quite similar. Let's go a little bit bigger, 27. Maybe 47. We want to say different. Say different. 47. 77. We already got 77. Let's go. 47. Oh, interesting. In 47, we got an inverse contraction over body field, which is not true. Let's take a look there over diffraction pattern. Let's go diffraction element. We want to make sure we're being at the center. Okay, we put it on the center, and then we take a look at the application. Okay, that looks right. And we need to adjust to adjust the context in our. Okay, let's take image. Use the camera lens 35 millimeter. So the camera lens 35 millimeter, we have good contrast. So and then we use 77, which is so you say we get a dark field contrast into bright field, which indicates over diffraction disk is not a centering. So we lower screen and it just is diffraction, center the diffraction. Okay, and then we go there. Okay. Activation. Different screen. Okay, 77. We got the if being in the center. No, let's check that. Let's check that. It's not a right at center. We want to make sure all being is right at center. Yeah, it's right at center. So it's right at center. So, but in our and then we can take the image. Okay, before taking image, do not save battery down. So we use scope tool to, because we have more beam go to the positive, we need lower brightness in detector. Increase it there. Okay, and then we can take image. Okay, so this is how image look like with 77 camera lens. You see, in your DF2 detector, you get the contrast. It's very similar to the bright field contrast. If you put your beam right on the center, if you put the center disk right on the center of the detector. So then we can go further, which is 20, which is default value, and go node screen. Just make sure beam is right on the center. You can go deflection amendment, tools being on the center. And then you can down. You can say CV, leave the screen, take image. Oh, before that, we should adjust the context by using scope tool. Okay. We might need to adjust focusing a little bit. Seems it's out of focus. Okay. Take an image. Okay, this is how the image looks with the standard camera lens, which is 205. And then we can go further. We can double that, double digit to 520. Just make sure our camera lens is over center disk, it's on the center. You see a much bigger center disk. And then you can, of course, you need to adjust the contrast. Then you can take image. So right now, it seems your dark field, it's a high detector is kind of for look like dark field 4 image, and your dark field 4 image look like bright field image. That means you could correct a lot of diffraction contrast in your dark field 4 image. So let's because right now it's 520. Let's decrease a little bit to see which camera lens we have, which camera lens we turn the dark field 4 to bright field contrast. Let's do this one, maybe. This is it seems low screen. Deeper screen. Okay. with 330, your cameras, your dark field for imaging is already becoming like bright field like contrast imaging. It's low screen, so make sure working in the center. Yeah, it's well in the center. So I guess this is the critical value. If you go below that, we're gonna have. If you go below that. Huh. Yeah, in this case, you still see a little bit dark field context in your dark field 4. So we already go to, so it seems 330 millimeter is critical value. You turn your dark field 4 image to be a completely bright field image. So, and then we go a little further with, if we go 840 to see how the hard field image look like. So you see right now your hard field image is look like dark field 2 image, dark field 2 image. It's not completely turned to the bright field contrast, but it's very close to the bright field contrast. Let's load screen, make sure the bin is on the center. Your bin become very big. It's on the center. Okay. So again, so you get a pulse signal to your body field. Let's take the image. This is the 840 millimeter common lens. So in this case, all image look like dark bright field image contrast, and your signal to noise of your bright field image become poor. So because your common lens become longer, it's hard for the electron to reach to your bright field detector. Similar situation applies to your hard field. Maybe use the very short common lens because your hard field detector just below sample is most of the signal electron gonna block by the sample. In that case, you get very poor signal get very limited. The electron goes into your hard field detector. Okay, let's one more try, and let's go crazy. Let's go maybe hardest 1.75. Here 1.1, I think 1.1 is yeah, 1.1. You're gonna completely turn your hard field to bright field like contrast imaging. So let's check the central score. Let's make sure your beam is well centered. Okay, switch the screen. Yeah, so you get less signal goes into bright field detector and dark field 2 detector, but you have good signal goes into your hard detector, but the contrast is inversed. You get the bright field contrast in your hard detector. Let's zoom in to focus a bit. Okay, take image. So I think we're done with almost done with the common effect. So if you don't use that high commonness, because in that case you're gonna lose the contrast imaging. Okay, one more try. Let's go the hardest, which is 5.7. So now you see you have almost no signal goes into your other 3 detectors. Let's check make sure the beam is on the center. Where's my beam? Yeah. So I guess my beam is very weak by using that high commonness. So I think it's centered. We just don't get any signal to all other 3 detector. Let's get this contrast. Signal is so poor. This reached the limitation of the detector, I think. And also, so I think that's it. That's how the commonness affect the image quality to different detectors. So yeah, let's bring the beam, take a look at the results. So this is the imaging with highest commonness. We see the color field contrast completely tend to the bright field contrast, and we see lower commonness a little bit. We're still seeing the luminous, seeing the bright field contrast with all 4 detectors. I think this is the critical value for turning the hard field contrast to bright field contrast is 840 millimeter. And also, a critical value to turn the DF4 to the bright field contrast is roughly about 330 millimeter commonness. And if you go below, that's, I think, critical value for turning the DF2 to the bright field contrast is about 77 millimeter commonness. If you go below that, all 4 image kind of looks like, if you go below like 77, and you're gonna see you will have a dark field contrast in dark field 2, dark 4, and the hardest. And you get a good contrast, bright field contrast to the bright field detector, of course. But when you use the shortest commonness, you signal to the cutoff, it's, you get a very limited signal to cutoff detector. But you get a very good electron. You get a lot of electron goes into battlefield detector because the distance between the distance between your sample and the detector is getting shorter. So more electron goes into your battlefield. But if you had it, if it moves closer, you have a lot of being shattered by the sample. So electron, it's harder to go into the cutoff detector. Okay, that's how camera lens affect the image contracts. So any questions so far?
So when you were focusing, you focus with the focus knob instead of the Z later?
Yes, I focus with the focus knob because, as I mentioned, because right now I'm doing the low mag imaging, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I do high res imaging, I prefer to use the Z button to move the sample close to the Z height, close to the usage height, as close as possible. Because I don't want to use focusing knob. Because if you change the focus knob, I'm gonna change my probe size and the probe shape. So, but right now we're doing low mag imaging. I can use the focus knob to do focusing a little bit. So the defocus value here is like it's below, as I mentioned, don't go beyond 1 micron, definitely for low mag imaging. As long as I feel your image is clear, it's good to use the focus button.
Okay.
But if you do high resolution imaging, we want to find probe as far as possible, right? Because right now I'm just doing the low mag imaging. I don't want to spend so much time to use Z, because Z button is a little bit harder to control compared to you just use the focusing knob. So, because if you use the focusing knob, probe become a little bigger, but that's going to affect resolution. But in the lower magnification, it's hard to tell. It's almost make no difference. So that's the reason I just using focus knob. So. Yeah, and also the focus value is not that big. Just make it easy to do. Yeah, good question. Yeah, if you want to take a high resolution, atomic resolution imaging, we will talk a lot more how to do the HR stand, HR. So in that case, we want to keep our probe as small as possible. So we don't want to use the focus knob beyond 200 nanometer. So we don't do over focusing or under focusing by we just keep that value below 200 nanometer. Yeah. Yeah, that's how we do the image application with semi-image application with Velox software. So let's go back to normal situation. We go. This is normal comments. So in this case, we need because we have more electron goes into the over W4, W2. So we need to adjust the contracts. Okay, this is the normal image. We probably need to check the probe, make sure probe is at center. So when you change camera lens, you notice the focus change a little bit, right? So this is because when we change the camera lens, basically we change our projector system value. So in that case, our focal point of your objective lens is move a little bit with the projector system changing. So that's gonna affect a little bit of your focus point. But it's fine. We just use the we can just move the adjust that by using the focusing knob. Okay. Yeah, and so normally we just use HardFit to do imaging. So because we don't because HardFit give you pure give you like many thick contracts, which is very good to tell you the computation difference between different contracts. So yeah, that's and yeah, that's how we use the Velox to take image. And once we're done with taking image, we can always do some linear data processing by taking the data. So here's experiment view. So you can select which one you want to see. You can just double click this image. I don't think it's good. You just select right click, delete that. You can say, are you sure you want to delete this file? Yes, delete it. And then also, if you don't want to see it, you just say, for example, this image, you don't want to see this image in this view anymore. You just right click, just say close. Or you can open this view in a new window. So you can just say close, it's going to close the view, but keep the file. So for example, this one, I just can select that and then say delete. You can delete this file. So let's do some. So I just want to delete that. Do some export. So so that's a batch exportation. It's batch export. You can do batch export when you define the location. You can select the location you want to do batch export. I use folder link, name, this one, and then set the folder. You can choose this. This is a target folder. You can also define the source folder, which is same folder. You can select, and then you can define save as VPAC or TIFF for image. If you want to include data bar or skill bar. And this here, I just say data bar. And then you say export, it's going to export all the image. So you can also include the sample folder. Yeah. And you can also export the image one by one. Let's say you want to export here, say export data here, right? And you can take a look you can say data bar. I want to including select item because we are talking about camera lens. So we don't have option that you choose camera lens. That you maybe good to show the correction angle. Floor side and stand mag. Maybe good. So stand mag? No.
CL is the camera length.
Oh yeah, I saw it. Yeah, camera. Good. Critical. Yeah. Then we can include the camera lens in the data bar. We probably don't want the scan focus on a high tension scan pixel size, dwell time. Okay, it just okay. Yeah, that's okay. Data bar, data bar, data bar. So just the camera lens, and then okay, export the imaging. Just say so. It's camera lens, right? And just you need to define this DF2. This is DF4. This is DF2. I'm gonna do batch export because this, if you export one by one, it takes too much time. But I'm gonna do batch export. We can do find batch report. Define the folder again. This folder here. Okay, and then data bar that way. Okay, so then I'm gonna explore all the image at one time, and then I will share all of this image with you, so you can you share this data with user later. So I think this is a good example to tell them the cameras effects on different detector. Okay, let's take a look at data. Save here, use folder. Okay. Okay. Take one of them. Yeah. Huh. Let's go. Don't have camera lens. Also has camera lens. Okay, I got it. We might set up that. It's too much item. It's mine. Just need notes collection of. Because we just keep the most important information. Maybe communication. Pixel size. Yeah. Okay. And then we can do batch export. Okay.
So batch export, do you have to select them, or do you have to hit select all or anything to pick the ones you want?
You just export all of them, so you don't need to pick one.
Oh, everything in that folder? Okay.
Everything in the folder. So it's getting. Yeah, now we get a camera lens here, right? So we did do conversion. Comments. So this is the most important information. Okay. Yeah, that's so before you do batch export, you have to define define the data bar. If you want to do batch explosion with data bar, it's better to define them before you do the batch explosion. You can define them by just right click, select item, and define the value here. So yeah, which is very convenient found. Because I don't need to name one. Because if I do individual report, I need to explore and name each of them. But here, the data bar really gives you freedom to customize your data bar, and also because at the beginning we added a folder, we added a label, so we say camera lens effect. That means we're gonna including that in the file name as well. So, and also we're going to include daytime application in the file name. This is in the file name, and we have camera lens effect information within the data bar. So, yeah, that's how we hand processing data, export data. So far, yeah. Okay, so today we basically go through all the STEM imaging concept and explain the different operation, and also I give you a presentation on how to do the STEM imaging alignment step by step. And also after that presentation, I give you like a live demonstration of how to acquire STEM imaging by using Velox and also the J software. Also, we get a little bit of time to take a look at how to do alignment for TAN imaging. And also we take a look at high resolution TAN imaging, take a look at the atoms where the silicon are. And then we use this TAN alignment as a base, and then we switch to the STEM mode to tune the STEM alignment, to fine tune the probe, and then we did the STEM alignment, we did the STEM imaging with Velox and the J software. Finally, we take a look at how the camera lens affect the different contracts in different detectors. So I'm going to share all of the data with you so you can put them together to show to the user. Also, we take a look at the objective aperture effect on the contracts. So that means if you use smaller aperture, it gives you more contrast, but not smallest is not the best, because we're going to lose some detail within the silicon. If you choose the good camera lens, we can have a good contrast on the silicon, and also we can see some details within the silicon. So yeah. I think that's I think pretty much we covered the topic we have today. Let's just go over the agenda to see if we missed anything or not. This is the training agenda. Let's go here. So today's this is today's topic. We review STEM image alignment, we review STEM application, we review the STEM application with Velox. By the end of the day, this is the target. We hope you understand Talos operation system, the interface. We hope you can do a basic alignment and adjust the beam But take a look at the beam shape and the size. I hope you understand how to set up the STEM image which Velox software and fine-tune the STEM image condition. But look at the STEM imaging and also the Ronchigram and also we obtain image contrast by use different the camera lens, assess the effects on the hard and dark field image contrast. So, any question?
No, it was good.
Okay, so then you mean that we get all the objects, learning objects done. So, so tomorrow we're gonna today we don't get too much time for you to do some practice. But tomorrow we probably have some more time for you to do some practice. You can ask me. So, for example, if I can be you can be my brain, I can be your hand. You just ask me to operate the system, to step by step. In this case, you can get more familiar with the STEM imaging, and also after we're gonna show you how to do hydrogen imaging. We're gonna image two different kind of sample. One is silicon device, another is strengthening titanium. So we're gonna see, we're gonna get the, we're gonna fine-tune them to get the good atomic resolution imaging. So yeah. So hope you're at least learning something from today's section. And if you feel if you feel you want to calculate more content, please feel tomorrow. Please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna end the speed section, and I will see you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.